No one wants to talk about death. It's morbid, scary, unknown. This is probably the reason that many of us do not prepare for death. By preparing for death, I don't mean writing a will, filling out advance directives, or choosing a funeral home. Preparing for death is much more. Matthew O'Reilly is a critical care EMT in New York. He's taken care of many critically ill patients and many imminently dying patients. Early in his career, he used to lie to his patients, and if they were actively dying, he would tell them that they were going to be okay in order to comfort them and because he was scared. One day, he told a man the truth. The man was having a massive heart attack, and Matthew told him that he was going to die. He was surprised that this man met this with peace and acceptance. Throughout the rest of his career, he no longer told people that they weren't going to die. If someone was dying, he told them the truth. He noticed three patterns in those who were dying: the need for forgiveness, the need to be remembered, and the need to have made an impact on the world. When these needs are met, patients meet death with acceptance and peace. What I'd like to talk about today is how to prepare for death. Of course, there's the legal stuff. You need to have a will. You need to have treatment wishes, whether you want to be resuscitated or not, whether you'd like to receive fluids or antibiotics or blood products. And you need a POA. That's someone who will make sure that your wishes are followed out when you're no longer able to speak for yourself. You need to decide how you want to die. According to Judy Johnston, there are a few things that you need to take into consideration. Where do you want to die? Of course, most people would like to die at home. This may or may not be an option. There are many times when a medical condition will not allow you to die at home. You'll need to be in a hospital. If you do allow yourself to die at home, you'll need to have in-home care. You don't want to put that burden on your family. While it may sound romantic or nice to have your family take care of you until your last moments, the reality is that that's much more of a burden than you want to place on a loved one. When choosing caregivers, make sure that you choose someone who fits your personality. If you can't die at home, make sure that you choose somewhere that you're comfortable. The next thing to consider is, who do you want to be there in your last moments? Would you like your family, your friends, your pets, or maybe no one? This should be communicated well in advance, and this should be communicated to your healthcare power of attorney to make sure that these wishes are carried out. The last thing that Judy Johnston suggests that you take into consideration are last words. These are not the last words that you're going to utter before you die. These are the last words that you would like to hear. Think about who you would like to be there and what you would like them to say to you to make sure that you're comfortable as you're dying. For some, this may mean that someone tells you that your family will be okay and that you don't need to worry because the bills are taken care of. For me, this would mean that my son will be okay and that he'll be taken care of. Whatever your last worries or needs will be, you want to make sure that someone is going to express those to you on your deathbed. You may be confused, you may be dehydrated or disoriented, and you may not be able to remember who's taking care of what. This needs to be clearly communicated in your last moments. Back to the three needs that Matthew O'Reilly cited. These are not just needs of the dying, but needs of everyone. If you try to meet these needs daily, instead of waiting until the end of your life, you can start preparing for death now, and you can meet death with peace and comfort. These needs, again, are the need for forgiveness. Some may call it sin, some may call it guilt, some may just call it having a conscience, but everyone has done things that they wish they wouldn't have. Whether you need to go to church and ask for forgiveness, or just ask a friend for forgiveness, or maybe your children, or even your pets. Do it now, don't wait until you're on your deathbed. Everyone needs to feel recognized and remembered. Everyone needs to be remembered. In reality, we'll all be remembered for things that we've done. We just need to recognize those things on a daily basis. If you sit down daily, weekly, or even monthly and just spend a few minutes reflecting, you'll realize that you will be remembered. Everyone also needs to have an impact on the world and to recognize that impact. Again, if you sit down for just a few minutes, weekly, daily, or even monthly, you'll realize that you have an impact and will be remembered, whether it's through your work, your family, your home life, or a combination. The thought of death is scary. You don't want to leave the familiarity of this world. Yet, when we recognize and meet each of these individual needs, this will help us to prepare for a comfortable and peaceful transition.